Lee Ross, for those of you that don't know, was the creative director behind Infinite Warfare Zombies. This man, even though he was doomed with a title like Infinite Warfare being the most disliked video game trailer of all time, he still created one of the greatest zombies experiences we have to this date. So let's watch the rise and fall of Lee Ross. No hate to any one of these. I follow Lee Ross on Twitter. Shout out to him. Go follow him. He's an incredible person. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this.
Lee Ross is a legend in the zombies community for creating zombies.
Shout out to Mr. Fahrenheit too.
A very unique
he made Spaceland, man.
That many
Come on,
people,
bro.
including me, appreciated as he had some
top
fresh
5
ideas,
map
with,
right here.
You know, like everybody, some good and bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like almost any zombies director, no one's perfect. But first, let's take it back and look at the man himself, Lee Ross. Lee Ross started as an associate producer for Neversoft Entertainment. In December 2005, he worked there for about 3 years and 3 months.
Also, fun fact, I believe Lee Ross did help Treyarch in a lot of things in BO4, and I actually remember him talking to him in a BO4 interview, and he was saying that he knew about everything happening on BO4 before they showed it off, and that's what made me so excited at the time, but we all know how that went.
and then he moved up to be the lead director in February 2009, which he would do until 2013 of September. He was lead producer for 4 years and 8 months.
Wow, yeah, that's a long time.
Multiplayer production, UI production, online production, and then in July
yeah, he was in a bunch of different areas.
Neversoft merged.
Yeah, he was not just like zombies. He was in all different sectors of Call of Duty, even in campaign, I believe.
He at first was the senior producer for all the zombie mode productions, and in March after the game release, he became the associate project director, being the dialogue and cinematic writer/director, the VO direction, the direction oversight all development for the zombies mode, and he was the media spokesperson for the zombies mode. Mr. Rothwolf did some great interviews with him if you also want some in-depth.
And I also believe he was an incredible director. Like I said, he actually cared about the community. He wanted to appeal to us. He actually added the first quality super Easter egg ever with an insane boss fight for it as well. Nobody has ever done a super Easter egg boss fight outside of my boy Lee Ross. So shout out to my
what it looked like and what inspired him for the Spaceland drop. Now, IW, the trailer dropped about over 6 years ago to this day and still has the dislike ratio of 656,000 likes to 4 million dislikes. So
oh, man. I just think that Activision doesn't even care, bro.
People already thought the game was doomed, and yes, it was doomed from the start.
Yeah, it was. It really
Except
was.
For one mode, zombies.
And Lee killed it, bro. Shout out to him.
Zombie fans. Wait. Never mind, because the dislike ratio on that trailer was
good. But this was also because of the dislike spam from the multiplayer trailer. I think a lot of people from zombies were excited, but a lot of mainstream people just were disliking because that's all they knew to do.
114 dislikes to 7.
But again, Lee
did
an amazing
job.
job.
People just went on there to shit on it because anything that had IW, it was the cool thing to just dislike and shit on it and say that it was garbage, spit on it, gum on the bottom of the shoe. So we take that with a grain of salt a little bit. As if you look at the comments now, they're actually positive, saying that, you know, looking back, that this was
a lot of them are positive. Exactly.
November 2016, and Lee Ross and his team were determined to not let the failure.
Again, a lot of this also comes from people being extremely fatigued from BO3, the prior game being futuristic as well, and they wanted to go back to boots on the ground. And now it's very similar because we are in a complete opposite area of that timeline. Instead of people wanting to be on boots on the ground, we want new things. We want fantasy elements. We want like different modern genres, but just with a slight twist, something that makes it fresh and original, not just boots on the ground. So it's crazy to see how we're literally making a full 180 to now wanting what Lee Ross instilled into Call of Duty.
Of the game, like multiplayer and the story of IW. So they dropped Spaceland, which was a banger.
Yes.
Showing Lee Ross and
top 5 zombies map, top 3. I'd even say.
Brand new mechanic. Such as arcade games and all the arcade games
incredible
in there.
Map.
David Hasselhoff as
my
the parts
boy.
DJ.
Yes,
the map
sir.
also contains many classic elements from
hard
such
boss
as
fight.
Easter eggs.
Real.
It also introduces many new items like the Armageddon, the cryo grenade, the rewind, the transponder, the portable.
I think the only thing that holds this map back, to be honest, is high rounds. And I've said this before for other maps, but man, the wonder weapons on this map suck. They don't do anything. Like the high round strat is just to run through the alligator over and over and over. That's the only thing that instantly kills on this map. It's a little sad.
Generator, the black hole, the plasma grenade, the cluster grenade.
Not even the traps
C4
insta kill.
And the concussion grenade, biospike game?
Tons
Gas
of
grenade. Map
grenades,
Ultra
yeah.
uses the infinite ammo and infinite grenade drops.
Yeah,
The
infinite
game
ammo
brings
was
a new
cool, and
souvenir
infinite
coin machine
grenades.
for you to build traps. That
He
help
was
you beat
thinking
the horde.
outside
Also
the
card
box,
fortune
man.
Featuring acting like the goblet system from BO3.
Yeah,
Also,
Fate
a ticket system
Fortune.
in the game allowing you to craft items by doing
Yeah,
little challenges.
IW was the first game to have two currencies. A lot of people would think Black Ops Cold War was the first one to have salvage and then regular points. Nope, it was Infinite Warfare. Spaceland, Lee Ross was ahead of the game, man.
Robot
For
asked you to
real.
do. And going back to the Fate and Fortune cards, the Fate cards can be used as a limited number of times.
Yeah.
And are obtained through getting levels such
And
as the
I
classic.
think the Fate and Fortune card system, in terms of balance, is better than Gobblegums because they're not OP. However, if they aren't balanced, then people don't want, or if they are balanced, then people don't want to buy them, which is why Perkaholics and Gobblegum and all that were so much more well appreciated. Even though I do believe some of the Fortune cards are crazy, they were nothing like the BO3 Chronicles Gobblegums.
Gobblegums from BO3. While Fortune cards are the single-use cards with the more powerful effects obtainable from zombie crates. Now, Fate cards have no rarity, as they're the classics, but Fortune cards can be found in common, rare, legendary, and epic rarities like the Mega Gobblegums in BO3. Now, after seeing the success that Gobblegums had in BO3, I'm sure that they wanted to do the zombie crate again in IW to keep the microtransaction game rolling.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We'll take what they're going to sell. I'm sure Lee
But
Ross
they
didn't
just,
necessarily...
they had the right idea. It's just they needed to put a bunch of OP stuff. And I think the thing is that Spaceland was a great zombies map. A lot of people were into it, but I know throughout the DLC cycle, a lot of people were falling off, which is, again, unfortunate.
Maybe have that exact idea with how you can buy them, but either way, it's something you earn and you can level up and gain more as you go. Now, if we're going to cover the post-launch, I don't have too much of my own personal opinion on the maps, but I will do a quick overview of how I feel most people.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what he has to say about each of them.
What I remember. Now, keep in mind, this was a long time ago, but from what
it is quite some time now, over 6 years now.
So Raven the Redwoods was the first map to drop, and
I think Raven the Redwoods, like, it literally, the DLC cycle goes like this. Spaceland's at the top, and then it just goes right down. Like, it's literally a downward slope. Spaceland's at the top, Raven's pretty close, and then Shaolin, and then Attack, and then Beast from Beyond. It's literally, like, perfectly trajectory in terms of the downward spiral of quality.
What was disappointing is that usually you can look at games for the first DLC and compare how the drop was related to how the game eventually will do.
Exactly.
And although it has really cool visuals, it's one of the best looking maps when you do the...
It is a really fun map. I like
cool
Raven.
colors and melee weapons.
Yeah, you do get high.
Instead of a starting pistol. I remember it being received pretty okay, but you gotta cut me slack, right? I feel like it was so many years ago, but I feel like the problem with it wasn't Spaceland. Spaceland was so good, and then like going from an S tier map.
Yeah, it wasn't Spaceland, and also people were comparing this DLC one to Der Eisendrache, which obviously there's just no comparison, unfortunately.
To drop onto like a B tier map, so it wasn't bad though. It wasn't bad. I don't remember people.
Definitely wasn't bad.
Shaolin Shuffle had a lot of cool weapons. A very funny karate.
Shaolin Shuffle was pretty exciting
with a cool idea, and I like the setting.
And I think this map was, I think, where interest started to definitely decline. Especially by the Attack of the Radioactive thing. I know a lot of people barely even played that third DLC.
It is probably one of the hardest ones I've ever had to attempt. I've never completed it to this day, as it's ridiculously hard. It's just a journey of pain and suffering.
It's a lot of fun though. It is hard though.
It was a cool Easter egg, but it took way too long. Had too many parts for you
No, this Easter egg is the most complex Easter egg of all time.
Chemistry.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No, thank you.
Probably the worst besides Dead of the Nights.
Yeah.
But the Easter egg, if you know what you're doing, the Easter egg is pretty cool. It's the steps it takes to get there that I feel like let the map be let down. Yeah. Now, finally, we'll do Beast of Beyond.
Beast from Beyond, and this was
so much hatred to this map.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people also.
This map was all filler because a lot of people thought that Lee Ross at the time was making Mephistopheles, which was the craziest part about DLC 4. And I agree. I'm fine with this being a bad map because we have Mephistopheles. Like, that boss fight is double S tier. It's one of the hardest boss fights in all of Call of Duty Zombies to this date. So I'm fine with this being a bad map.
Like you only play it for the Mephistopheles boss fight and the super Easter egg, allowing the player to use Director's Cut after completing all the Easter eggs.
Exactly.
And this is the last one you have to do. You have to get through the boss fight. No, I do love the Director's Cut, as it's never been done since.
And Director's Cut mode is insane. It's so cool. It is
a super Easter egg. I'll give it that, but it's just not as rewarding. As after you get this, the only time you go back is for the boss fight. No one ever goes back to play this casually. But I don't know. People have been saying some weird things in the comments recently, so maybe
don't trust the comments.
Post Infinite Warfare.
Don't trust the comments.
But also take a role in Treyarch's big project Blackout, where he was the principal game designer
I
over at Treyarch
I
Studios.
actually forgot about that. Lee Ross did make Blackout. Listen, I've been seeing a lot of Blackout hype back on the timeline. I think people are starting to realize how good it was back in BO4. It's just too bad it wasn't free to play, right? It's like one of the only battle royales that wasn't free to play, and that's why it fell
and
through.
related to any zombies related items in Blackout. So the AI or anything related to zombie storytelling in Blackout itself was under Lee Ross's control.
That's cool.
And then it was a sad day in March 2020. Lee Ross would announce he was leaving Treyarch and Infinity Ward to pursue a new journey. He had spent over 5 years and 11 months with Infinity Ward and just under 2 years with Treyarch for Blackout. And then where he is right now is he is in Demo Studios as an executive producer, and recently in June 2022 he became the director of development with the studio. This is where Lee Ross is to this day, and honestly, I miss him so much.
Yeah, I do too.
Really wish he
Lee is my
honestly Call of Duty.
Lee is my second favorite director. Obviously Blundel's at the top, then Lee, and then Jimmy Zielinski for me. But still, all three of them are phenomenal people, and yeah, I would love to see exactly what happens with
another zombies mode take. As he made in my opinion, he made the best competitive.
He made the best gameplay mode ever.
Way better than AW, better than World at War 2. Spaceland is better than half of BO4. I put Spaceland above all of BO1, which some of you may throw rocks at me for saying. And I actually did a poll, and about 30% of you have never even played Spaceland.
Wow! Y'all listen, I know buying IW just for one map is a little bit much, but dude, Spaceland is definitely worth it. If you don't want to buy it, definitely at least go check out a video, I would say, because Spaceland is a phenomenal map. I might even do a Spaceland round 100 soon again. It's a hard map, but it's a lot of fun, man.
That's a good amount of people who are in this community that haven't touched the map.
Exactly.
Usually the game goes on sale, so I beg you for when it goes on sale next time,
definitely
or just buy it on G2A,
get it on sale.
Which I'm not sponsored.
It's
Please
probably
sponsor
like
G2A,
20 or 30 bucks.
It's free on disc, so go ahead and buy it. You won't regret it. It's a fun time. And the sad part really is this video is going to be really short. Looking back on it right now, towards the end of the video, because Lee Ross only got one game to work with.
Yeah,
when you
Lee Ross. I mean, he was working on BO4, but it wasn't for anything to do with zombies.
Having World at War, BO1, and like half of BO2.
Jimmy had a lot of
Jason
games.
Got half of BO2,
and Jason got a lot of games too.
And then part of BO4.
Yeah,
Lee Ross only got one game, and
he's still more memorable, I would say, from his one game outside of these three, which is. That's a lot of respect to put on my man's name. So hats off to him. That's a lot.
Made only perfect maps.
True.
So Lee Ross had a really great GOAT map.
Yeah.
Had an okay map in Rave. Shaolin was there. There were just steps that could have been taken to make it not as painful.
Yeah, I think Shaolin is
attack.
Like when I go back, Shaolin, if you're learning it, is a rough time. But once you know it and like can actually play through it, it's a pretty fun map. The Easter egg is very challenging. It can be very difficult, you know.
Like he was there. He could have just some steps. Beast, fucking delete Beast. Beast never happened. And then just had the
for real.
Mephistopheles be like, I don't know.
Delete Beast.
And a map that's not
true. Beast. If I could delete one map, I think nobody would be mad that I would delete Beast from the Beyond. I agree. It's basically just like a COD Ghosts campaign mission as a zombies map. That's the way I think
I literally, I wouldn't hate if he ever came back. Out of the three of them, I feel like he might be the most likely to ever return.
Oh, interesting.
He does have a history, and he never actually directed a zombies mode, but we have Kevin Drew to maybe.
True.
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't think any of the three developers that made zombies will ever return. I think that will be it, and we have Kevin Drew. So the next video that we will be doing is Kevin Drew, the Rise and Fall, but he's still rising, so it's going to be good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you, Mr. Fahrenheit, for this video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see y'all, ladies and gentlemen, in that next one.